One of the foresights of this plant project was to stay ahead of the curve and to prepare for the future. When I say that, yeah, we may complain as a generation our age now, but our kids and our kids' kids that aren't here yet, they're gonna thank us. We built this plant to last. I don't believe they'll ever exceed the capacity in the next 100 years. So we gave Terre Haute plenty of room to grow. Plenty of room to grow. This here is our Influent Channel. So all the flow all over Terre Haute that goes to some larger lift stations is conveyed to here. So our raw comes through here. Right here in these channels, we have your influent flow metering device that records to a chart what our influent is coming into the plant. So as it comes through, these are your bar screens. This one's operating, so it's coming up against the bars, bringing up all that it catches, scraping it off. It goes into a sealed compactor, so it's compacting the leaves, the trash, the hair, squeezes the water out, and it comes out in the plug, and it's sent to the landfill. Now the grit that goes to a pistol grit system comes up out of the basement, pumped up here, and comes over to these two grit washers. It gets washed. What you see coming out of here is sand, gravel, coffee grounds, eggshells, anything that's heavier in specific gravity water comes out here. And again, it goes into the landfill and just cleans up the wastewater so that the inert objects does not hinder any operation to any equipment on down the line. So what happens is once it goes through the screening, the pistol grip, and then that flow, as it comes in, and this stage right here is called Anoxic. I call it the meet and greet because what happens is we have a return activated sludge coming from our clarifiers. So as you return that biological mass of bugs, the bacteria that breaks down the waste, all it can do is meet. Basically what happens is the cell wall of the bug can only attach the food. It cannot absorb it in to break it down until it enters aeration tanks. Air has to be present. So Anoxic works in conjunction with aeration. This new design, we incorporated the Anoxic to have a complete mix to be more efficient, to break down the waste. So as we come through Anoxic, once they come to this aerated channel and they come into a fine bubble aeration tank, at that point, this is when the bug cell wall is able to absorb the food and they break it down. They go through 3 passes and then we go into clarification from there. As we leave aeration, it all comes to a complete mixed channel, so everything comes back into one, comes into what we call a splitter box, which separates it again and goes to 6 separate clarifiers. The clarifiers not aerated, it's not really mixed, so it's able to settle. It causes a thick blanket of sludge, but yet you have a Tobro clarifier that swings around slowly and it sucks it up and it returns it. Now the water that's left over, obviously coming through the plant, life-sustaining. We always have ducks out here. If there were fish, they would live in it. Comes over a weir and it goes out. During disinfection season, it's disinfected and then it discharges into our river. To get an idea how clean it is, we can come over here to the collection box and you can see just how clean it is going out, how efficient the plant worked at screening and removing the solids. We have chosen to go from chemical chlorine sulfur dioxide disinfection, dechlorination, to what's called UV, ultraviolet, which doesn't necessarily kill E. coli, but it sterilizes it, does not allow the bacteria to colonize. The flow comes through, it goes over an outfall, it goes on into the Wabash River, which is our outfall. But this water is also utilized. We reuse this water inside the plant. Cooling water for equipment, plant water for cleaning, so that we're not paying for water. Now what we'll be heading into is solids handling. Solids sometimes are an issue, what to do with it. This new plant put in some pretty remarkable equipment that has allowed us different options and avenues. We're on top of our aerobic digesters. One thing to understand is your microbiology is a living, breathing organism and it grows. Well, one of the things you do to control is you waste. You take waste activated sludge and you send it to a digester, aerobic or anaerobic. At that point, you have a liquid Class B fertilizer. We basically are housing it aerating and mixing. From here, we're going to go over to a solids handling building and explain one of the processes where we take a liquid, we turn it into a dry cake. We're standing in the polymer feed room for our solids handling building. Polymer is just a chemical that is injected in with liquid sludge. Polymer takes those particles, flocculates them together. What you see behind me is what's called a centrifuge. Used to have belt presses, were very finicky. Now you have a self-contained unit, very efficient solids handling. Once you get these set up, you can walk away and they run like a dream. And so these are taking your liquid solids, turning them into a dry cake. Solids handling is very important in a wastewater plant because you're constantly producing solids in your everyday process. I would like to thank Commonwealth that had designed this process. We've got equipment and a process that is very enjoyable to run, works very well, really helped us out tremendously. We're standing here on our solids handling drying pad. We have removed all of our solids so they're not present other than residue that you would see on the ground. But right back here is the auger system. So once we have received our liquid sludge from our digesters, we bring it in, we add a polymer agent, we send it through the centrifuge, it turns into a dry cake, it's augered out, and it's dumped down. We use a payloader, move it into dump trucks, and then we haul it to wherever we need, whether it be landfill, land application, or any application that we choose and are permitted for. To summarize the whole plant, hopefully today you will understand where some of your user fees and dollars for your rates have went. We built this plant to handle any capacity well beyond our lifetime. So in essence, Terre Haute has the ability to grow. Economic growth is key to a city's survival, and the plant project has allowed that for many years to come, not only for us in our lifetime, our children, and hopefully our children's children.